Hi, I'm Brittany and welcome to my channel. Easter is just around the corner and I thought it would be fun to paint some Easter eggs today. The first thing you'll need is your watercolor paints. These are mostly Winsor Newton and Daniel Smith professional watercolors. Then you'll need a jar of clean water. You'll also want a paper towel or a sponge to dab your paintbrush on. Then you need your small size paint brushes. I'm using a size 3 and a size 2 and a 0 for these eggs. And then of course you need your egg. So you can choose to do this with hard-boiled eggs, or you can do what I've done here, and I poked a small hole in the top and then I poked a larger hole in the bottom and just blew out all the egg and rinsed out the inside so that these will last for a longer time. And to hold the egg while you're painting, you'll want a skewer, and you'll want to just put it on the skewer so that you can rotate it and it won't be hard to hold while you're painting. Alright, so I'm ready to get started with my first egg. So I'm taking a mixture of Winsor Red Deep and my Opera Pink and a little bit of my Jaune Brilliant. For this egg, I'm just going to paint small pink roses. So I'll start with the middle, and as I started painting, my egg wasn't holding still for me, so I had to put my hand on the back of it to hold it still. So I started with my center C strokes, and now I'm just making some thicker strokes around the center, and I'm just shaping the rose the size that I would like it to be. Now I'll pick up a darker color and I'll drop it in the center and randomly around this rose. I'll move on to my next rose, and again I'm just starting with the center with darker paint and these C strokes, and then I'll rinse off my brush, and with a lighter pink I'll make the outer petals thicker and shape this rose the way I'd like it to look. Now it's time to add some green leaves, so I'm just picking up my sap green with a mixture of Undersea green, and I'm just going to do my 2-stroke leaves and add a couple leaves to each of these roses. I'll continue to repeat those steps and just get this whole egg full of these cute little roses. And here's how it looks when it's finished. I think it turned out pretty cute. For this next one, I want to keep it monochromatic, so I'm just taking my Payne's gray, and I'll start by painting a branch of leaves. Next I'll paint a rose, and it'll be just like we painted on the first egg, only in one color this time. The last flower I'm going to paint is just a 5-petal flower, so I'll start by making a little star of color in the middle, and then I'll rinse off my brush and just drag out that color into the petals. Now I just need to add a stem and a couple leaves, And then I'll just continue painting these 3 elements all around this egg. Here's what it looks like when it's all finished. I think this one is my favorite. For this next egg, I want to start with some purple flowers, so I'm taking my mineral violet and I'm going to start painting some petals in the shape of a daisy. I'll paint a bunch of these all over the egg, and then I'll go back in when it's dry and add the yellow centers. Now I'll pick up my sap green to paint the stem and a couple leaves. I decided I needed another pop of color, so I'm going to take my pink paint and with the tip of my brush just dab it down and create these 5-petal teeny pink flowers. Now I'm just picking up a dark blue and dabbing a couple dots to create the center of the flowers. And here's how this egg looks when it's all finished. I thought it would be fun to paint on some different colored eggs, so I asked my cousins if I could have some from their chickens, and they were nice enough to give me some. So for this one, I'm just starting with my sap green, and I'm going to paint some branches of leaves. I let those green leaves dry, and now I'm taking a darker color, which is my Payne's gray, and I'm going to paint these bigger leaves in bunches of 3, overlapping the green leaves that I've already painted. And for the last step on this egg, I'm going to take my mineral violet and just paint little 5-petal flowers again. And once they dry, I'll add my yellow to the center. And here's the finished egg. I love the different background color on this one. On this brown egg, I want to paint some sunflowers, so I'm taking my burnt umber to create the center And now I'll pick up my Aureolin, and then I'll start painting these yellow petals all around the center. Next, I'll pick up my Perylene Green, and I'll paint a couple leaves to go on each of these sunflowers. And now I'll just continue painting these sunflowers all around the egg until it's full. And here's how this looks when it's finished. I wasn't sure if the yellow would show up, but it looked pretty good in the end. For this next egg, I want to paint some cherry blossoms. So I'm starting with my mixture of Winsor Red Deep and Opera Rose. And I'll just create that little star in the center. And then with a lighter pink on my brush, I'll drag that paint out and create the petals. Now I'll take a darker mixture of that color and just drop it in the center here and let it bleed out. This egg didn't really want to cooperate and let me paint on it, so there's a bunch of spots on this egg that just wouldn't accept the paint, as you can see here. But I just kept going with it, and it turned out okay in the end. Now that all the flowers are finished, I'm just taking a darker pink and painting the leaves. So here's how this one turned out. Definitely not perfect, but still pretty cute. On this last egg, I want to paint some roses again, but this time I'll paint them in purple. This is a mixture of my Mineral Violet and Winsor Red Deep, and I'm just painting the roses like I did on the very first egg. And here's how this egg looks when it's finished. Now that all these eggs have dried, I'm ready to put them in a cute little Easter basket and put them out for decoration. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope this inspires you to try watercolor painting on your Easter eggs.